Welcome to the PerformX podcast. I'm Giles and I'm joined today by Tom from Ashbourne Membership Management. We're going to be talking through some of the biggest challenges he sees in the gym owner world and previewing their stand at PerformX 2026. Welcome, Tom. Pleasure to have you on. Do you want to just introduce yourself, what you do?
Yeah, thank you very much for having me firstly. Where do I start? So yeah, I'm Tom and I work for Ashbourne Membership Management. I guess the reason that I'm here today is to talk about the Gym Owners Forum as well, but I am part of the customer success team at Ashbourne, and I guess that's kind of the very start of how the Gym Owners Forum became a thing. And as you can tell, we're in the studio, which is very nice. So I guess, yeah, I was kind of one of the first account managers. That's really what customer success is. And I just kind of kept seeing, we had the Gym Owners Forum before that, and that was more of just a forum for the Ashbourne customers to just talk to each other. And I think really that was kind of pre-COVID or during COVID really. And that was just a way of, we ran events also doing it. So the Gym Owners Workshop, which is still going today. But it was kind of just that really. It was more just a sales and marketing tool really, which is ironic considering where it's going today. And then I joined the company about 2 years ago. The company's been going for about 26 years. Gym Owners Forum's been going for about 8 off the top of my head, I guess. And I think I just saw an opportunity because there was a lot of gym owners that were always having the same kind of issue. And selfishly, maybe, I just didn't want to travel to every single Ashbourne customer across the UK and sort of solve the same problem. So we were saying, how can we actually kind of, talk about this stuff on a public platform and get the news out to these people? So that was how the Instagram started, and it was quite just short form, real content. Then the podcast started, and then I think it's just kind of grown quite naturally, to be honest. I've not really had to think too hard about any of this stuff. It's just kind of made sense naturally that, gym owners probably aren't the most social when it comes to talking to other gym owners. Everyone's kind of quite withdrawn about, telling people about their successes. And actually, I think that's just how we grow as an industry. And I think if I'm talking about my problems to someone, they can offer me solutions. They can also relate to me because they've had the same problem. And that's kind of where this has all gone now. So yeah, I mean, waffled quite a fair bit there. But the Gym Owners Forum in essence is Ashbourne. Ashbourne is a membership management company doing facilities management, access control, payment collections, all that stuff. And the Gym Owners Forum is basically now the customer success division of Ashbourne, because actually it's not about anything other than helping the gym owners and actually just connecting with gym owners. And to be honest, the more I learn from gym owners and people in the industry is the more that I can share with other people as well. So yeah, it's really a network of people. That's me, yeah, I guess.
Nice. And so for the Gym Owners Forum, how many members have you got in? And it's free, right? So if, let's say no one's ever heard, someone who's never heard of it, what's the format? What does it look like? How do they join?
Yeah, so as I say, it's evolved quite heavily over literally the last sort of 6-7 months. And it's peer-led, so it's people in the industry, all kind of sharing their insights through podcasts, through short-form reel content, through long-form kind of whiteboard videos. And I think, to be honest, this is a very recent thing, and the PerformX event for sure was kind of the first stage of that, which was kind of showcasing it. And I think we've recently figured out where we want to go with it, and that's having the gym community, like content creators. So it's people that are actively posting content. We'll actually put that out there because obviously good marketing for the gym. Yeah, and I mean in terms of active members, I think you can't really. With followers on Instagram is probably that. We're at about the 1,300 mark as we speak right now, but that's grown in double over the last couple months, and that's just purely from actually putting content out there, and we've had some really good responses as well. So members, one probably at the moment, but we have a lot of interest, and over the next couple months you'll see at least sort of, well, I mean, actually, if you're talking about the people at the event as well, I guess, yeah, it's subjective. I think it's however many. So yeah, it's, they say there's over 2,000 gyms in the UK. We've got 2,000 members. That's my answer.
Nice. And is it this project focused on the independent gym, or do you have management from chains and that sort of thing as well?
I think, to be honest, it's anyone in the fitness industry. I don't want to say it's just gym owners, because actually there's like small group personal trainers, there's personal trainers, there's entire leisure facilities, there's franchises, and there's actually just people in the fitness industry themselves, like me, for example. And I mean, a couple of our partners that are coming with us to PerformX, they're trying to make the industry a better place. So obviously they should be a part of it and be involved in it. Yeah.
So you said the Gym Owners Forum is led by data and experiences from hundreds of clubs across the UK and Ireland. What would you say are 2 or 3 key patterns you're seeing right now?
So yeah, I mean, it is data led and it's data driven, and I think that's just from us kind of. I mean, Ashbourne is obviously a massive help with that. We've got a massive pool of people that we can actually talk to and data that we can kind of analyse and look at, and in turn we can share that back to everyone. And I would say, I mean, have you heard of LeisureDB?
Yes,
and,
I know the guys, David and
and Evolve 2025. We went there, and I think that kind of cemented for me that every single talk was about longevity and wellness.
Yes,
and you're seeing
well with that.
And you're seeing now 100% that is just the way I think the industry's going. I think people are happy to pay, double what they would have paid in the past for things like recovery, red light therapy, hyperbaric chambers, and I think the science is actually getting to a point now where actually all of this stuff is being proven that it does increase your longevity. And I think even the word longevity probably 5-10 years ago wasn't as big, and now it's probably that buzzword that everyone's saying, like, you need to increase your longevity, because it's not about necessarily how long you live, it's about the quality of life for how long you're living as well. So,
and on that, are you seeing it, where are we at with it in terms of your average gym owner, or even your more ambitious gym owner? Are they implementing it? Are they looking at it? Where are we at, would you say, from your conversation?
I mean, it is all relative, and I think there will always be the need for your sawdust and spit gyms and your bodybuilders, and even your small group personal training, just your classes and things like that. There will always be a need for that, because there's always just that convenience of it. But actually, I think that the gyms, there's a stat that I can't remember, which is really useful, but it's basically not a very high percentage of gyms in the UK actually have any kind of recovery service. But it's those ones that do have a recovery service, they're the ones you hear about, and they're the ones that are doing really successful. So it's those ones that you're seeing implementing and keeping on this kind of trend of wellness and longevity that are the ones that are kind of winning and doing well, basically.
Something you spoke about was the community and people's ability to share challenges and collaborate. 2 questions on this. One, how do you find there's a resistance to people to sharing? Do you think people are the gym owners in particular, are open to the collaboration, or do you find there's an element of competition between them? And the second question is, if you were going to say if you were going to take the lid off and have a look into one of those workshops or groups, what are the typical challenges people are complaining about week in, week out, kind of thing?
I think there's an element of, and I mean, I think it's kind of, it's prevalent everywhere. I know with the Gym Owners Forum, it's quite easy to get lost in the numbers of just the membership number or the followers count or the likes count. And those, they're a good indicator sometimes, but actually they don't necessarily mean anything. They're kind of an indicator of where you're at, not really where you're going. And I think a lot of people kind of look at that membership number and then look at someone else's membership number or someone else's follower number, and they go, that's what's going on. I'm not going to talk to that person ever. And actually you should be talking to that person, because what are they doing? And alternatively as well, I think, if you're doing really well and the people around you aren't, and if they start doing really well, that kind of gives you a kick up the arse to do well as yourself as well. So to innovate and do new things. And I think that's how we innovate as an industry. And I think that's how we innovate as a community at the Gym Owners Forum, is by actually uplifting each other and supporting each other, because you're going to learn from other people's successes, you're going to learn from other people's failures, and in turn you're going to kind of drive your industry forward. There's
a phrase I really like, which is collaboration is the highest form of intelligence. It's something we try and do with PerformX, and you do find the right people are very willing to come and share their expertise on the stage, even if they're potentially telling it to competitors. And I think the nice thing in, especially the bricks and mortar world, is most people aren't really your direct competitor, because you have to be within driving distance, right? So even if, most people you'll be talking to in that audience aren't they're not going to steal your customers as such. So I think if everyone can level up and share what's working, you do create this sort of collaborative environment where everyone can grow. So I think what you're doing is a good thing in terms of that.
100%. And I think, I think we've all been guilty of it, where we kind of are like tribal and we kind of like push people away. But actually, it's kind of as you get older. I'm probably the youngest person in the room right now, but no offense. But
It's events, mate. It's age.
yeah, fair enough. Tell me about it. But I think kind of as you get older, it's the more I kind of actually work with people and meet people and network with people, you can kind of lean on them for stuff, and they lean on you back sometimes, and that's just part of it. And I think that's how you kind of build trust, build networks, and this industry especially is so like word of mouth and referral based as well.
It's a small world.
And I think, if you piss someone off, can I swear? Piss isn't a swear, I guess, but anyway, moving on. If you annoy someone, then like people find out pretty fast. And I think you can get a reputation for that. So just always kind of being positive and supportive. It's going to go a long way. And I mean, candidly speaking, I think this is probably part of that as well. It's going to help myself and everyone else involved in the long run. So it's only a positive in my eyes, really.
It's true. And so for a gym owner, or brand new gym owner, or I'll start that question again.
Right.
For a new gym owner, what should the first 90 days focus be on in terms of, I guess you're seeing this top line view of a lot of gyms. What is that first 90-day roadmap?
I think, it's all relative, isn't it, really? It depends who you are. And I think generally some of the most important things, and quite commonly I see, is people have their brand and their like the way they're perceived by other people, by their potential customers, is quite like skewed, and it's not necessarily always coherent across the entire brand. And I think really like being certain of your niche and doing something really, really well is probably the thing that I would say focus on. So if you are a small group personal trainer, like get the classes absolutely nailed on, like do the market research in terms of finding out when people actually want to do the classes. And like streamlining and just making sure everything's running as smoothly as possible. There's no bottlenecks anywhere in the system, because I think, it's very easy as not a gym owner to say like, don't get lost in the mayhem of starting the gym. But I think it's always quite good to maybe take a step back and, also again, lean on the support. Part of the reason we're doing the Gym Owners Forum again is because we want to be a free space where someone can just come to, not be sold to, and actually just hear what other gym owners are doing.
Nice. Yeah.
And I think, if you gave me a scenario right now, I could probably give you some form of solution or some form of anecdote. And I think that's just what gym owners need, because it is very stressful. And I think some people get into it because they do it as a passion and they're not necessarily the most business minded, which is fine.
Very common,
which is absolutely fine. And I think, more power to you, do what you love. But we're there to be that support. And I think it's just free, impartial advice. And, if someone turns around and says, you guys are actually fantastic, then,
Yes. It's
great.
Yeah, it's true. It's a very common thing, is that, you've got it, like to become a coach, to become a very good coach, you're not necessarily had any business experience, or the skills don't translate. And then you've also got that whole thing of like, not people expecting it to be free, but because you're doing something that's good and of value, it's got that kind of expectation. So having the mindset to be able to charge proper money for what you're worth, and also making the numbers stack up, because obviously opening a gym is a big investment. It's it's a big upfront cost kind of thing, and making sure you've got the cash flow. So I think it's a good idea, the peer learning, but also the years of 20 odd years experience you guys have of supporting that.
Exactly, yeah. And I mean, I will be the first person to say that I don't know everything, and I think that's what obviously. And I think the more that I can kind of, as you say, pull the resources of Ashbourne and the knowledge of Ashbourne, and also the partner companies that are coming with us to PerformX, we'll probably touch on it in a bit, but pulling on all those people to actually kind of, it's not selling, it's just them kind of sharing their expertise and what they do in the gym. And ultimately, I think just by showing and caring, that kind of naturally just sells itself. And I mean, I'm talking about sales a lot for something that's free and not sales driven, but I think that it's just actually by being trusted, that kind of does the rest for it. We just want to actually just help and uplift gym owners. And I think that's the most important thing, really.
And on that point of, I guess, business and performance for gyms, what are the 3 metrics you think a gym should be tracking on a daily or weekly?
Yes. So I think the first thing I would say to definitely not track is just the member number. Well, not don't track it, but like don't get obsessed with it. Because I think it fluctuates. There's bad months, there's good months. I think this summer was like particularly, there were a lot of clubs that just, were saying we're struggling. We don't really know why members aren't coming in. It's, it's nice to have that voice say it's not you guys actually, it's just the way
the market.
And now like, a month later, they're literally like, oh yeah, okay, it's all fine actually, don't worry about it. So like, don't worry about the member, don't get hung up on it too much. I think it's just kind of, as I say, like fine tuning things. So like footfall in the gym, I think is a good one, and comparing that to your like sleeping members, because if you're having a massive amount of footfall in the gym, it's actually, how can we make these people stay for longer? So there's a really good case study that we released recently, Team Reese Gym in Wales, and actually they realized that they had such a massive footfall coming in the gym in the daily, so they've actually introduced things like the barber shop and the wellness space and the recovery space, and actually all that's done is just keep people in the gym for longer, spending more money, and that's, well, I mean, do I have to say more really? I think that kind of speaks for itself. So yeah, I'd say footfall in the gym, 100% one. Yeah. And I guess all of them. I'm trying to think about it. I think making data-informed decisions is just so important, and it's quite hard to like pinpoint one thing specifically, because you can say like, class attendance and class retention, that's the word I'm looking for, like how many people are coming back to your classes, all these kind of stats, but it depends what kind of facility you are. I would just say getting lost in the data, and maybe that's a thing that gym owners don't do, so maybe this is my answer, which will be a politician's answer, which is look at as much data as you possibly can, because actually making those data-informed decisions gives you the like clarity and the security that you are making the right decision because it's based off of the data. And I mean, I can think of, there's a company called Twin Labs actually. As we're talking, I'm realizing we're actually have loads of partners and people that are contributing to the community.
Yes,
So when I said no one, I was completely wrong. But there's a company called Twin Labs that we do, that we work with, and we've taken some content from. And they are like an AI overview of the gym, and it tracks who's using what machines and when they're using it.
Yes, we were looking at this for PerformX actually, a similar sort of setup, so you can see dwell times and
you can see like who's misusing kit, and then actually it's got like it's not ChatGPT. Other AIs are available as well, but it's got like a chatbot in the corner, and you just say like, I'm thinking of getting rid of this corner. What do you think I should do with it? And it's like, well, actually, like this section's being massively overused, so why don't you merge them? And it gives you like tips and advice on it.
That's really cool.
Again, that's using data to just make a very quick and informed decision. AI is just one of those things that it's coming in leaps and bounds now. So,
and I think on that note of, I think current trends. So like you mentioned about quite a few reporting a more difficult summer than usual. Firstly, again, that's a good thing with the peer community, because you can go, you think the wheels are falling off your gym, but then if you find out it's across the board, you've got that peer reassurance. So again, it's that another advantage to being part of a kind of peer group.
Yeah.
But equally, but on that note, is there anything else that you've seen particularly different in 2025 from previous years, or in terms of gym operating?
It's a funny question, really, actually, because I mean, I started at Ashbourne and in the industry really at 2023. Yeah. Midway through 2023. So I've only really been there for 2 years, so I can only really talk about last year. And I would say it's that longevity and wellness thing. I hadn't really heard, I've heard of an ice bath, and like it was like just something Joe Rogan was doing in America. And then like slowly it's kind of made its way over, and now it's kind of exploding to literally like, hyperbaric chambers and like big red light machines that you just like strap yourself into for 20 minutes. And I think it's all that kind of stuff that is the real change in the industry, and that's what's actually changed between, I mean, the Fit Club is a great example of that, which is the gym that Ashbourne worked with in Redditch, and, own, I guess is the word, but they have literally just completely kind of taken on every single trend just to see if it works.
Right.
And I mean, obviously it works as a great test case for the company as well, but it literally like, all the longevity stuff that they've got in, so it's like aesthetics, red light therapy, all that kind of stuff is like, it's taken off, and it's kind of, it doesn't really look like it's going anywhere, because I feel like that's just the nature of the world now, really.
Right. So yeah, just to explain, like we talked about this off camera, but you guys have your own gym in Redditch, and you use that as a case study to test, and you've gone heavily down the longevity route with that.
Yeah. It's Toby Wattles and Grant Harrison are the owners,
Nice.
and they work with Ashbourne as well. And it's a really good test case for us, because obviously we can test all the products and different things like that in it. But then also actually it's a really good test case for us to understand actually like the difficulties of being a gym owner and actually like what's working and what's not. And again, this is part of the reason that we started this, is because actually we get it and we understand it, but obviously, you know, it's a lot easier to do it as a community focused thing rather than just us shouting it from the rooftops at people when, you know, we want to work with people basically. So
yeah, that's cool. And so what have you done, and what pricing model are you using? Is it bolt-ons, or is it just does everyone get access to everything, and what's working, what's not, kind of thing? Let's dig into the longevity.
Yeah. So the way it works is obviously because there's every different module with, I think the standard membership, you get classes and gym access included, and then obviously you get access to the gym floor. Things like aesthetics and all the red light therapy it's a external company.
Okay,
that
right.
They rent an office space in there, so that's like additional bolt-on, I guess.
Okay. So it's the equivalent of like having an on-site physio.
Basically, yeah. And
different types of recovery.
You know, that's something that's been around for years and years. So that's just try and test it. But I think it's like things like Reformer Pilates as well. Like that's a separate membership that you can also just buy single classes for as well. So yeah, I mean that's the pricing structure. But I think it's what kind of people are around you are doing as well. I think that's something you've always got to be aware of, because if someone's offering like an ultimate membership and everyone's taking it up in your area, then that's probably the structure.
Yeah.
Competitor like research is definitely a big thing as well.
And you might not know this, but do you know how are they tying it back in to prove that it's working? Is it like an overall picture of your health, and you're doing these things to, you know, prove over time kind of thing? Or is it more just a pay as you go? I'm going to do some infrared.
So yeah, I think like obviously I guess the ultimate kind of proof of it is the eyes, and if the person's actually happy or feeling good. And I think that's you know, that kind of speaks for itself. But then there are actually ways that you can kind of measure that as well within the club as well. So there's the body scanners, so Tanita body scanner, that obviously gives you like a body composition report. And then there is something, I'm not actually sure if it's in there yet, so I won't talk too much on it, but it's like a DNA analysis, like DNA analysis that they're going to incorporate. Well, they're thinking about incorporating with the PTs. I've been
doing that. It's fascinating. The mucus test, I did some earlier this year. Yeah.
What's your general like review, like feeling around it?
I thought it was fascinating. So I work with a kind of biohacking health expert personally, and I think it's just the level of the ultra personalization that he can get on me. So you do it alongside a massive survey of like symptoms you're getting or things that I weren't even thinking about that were symptoms, and then he correlates those patterns to my bloods, my mucus, my glucose, you know, my cardiovascular levels, and he's able to pull out trends and spot potential insights that, you know, and then you can get, you know, he can assess you overall, and he gave me a score of where you think you're at, but then also like some big levers, the biggest levers we could pull to improve my own personal health, which was really fascinating because, I mean, it discovered that basically I had quite high mold spores in my house because I've got quite an old house. I've just moved in and we had no idea there's no visible mold. But then that tells you, you know, you're getting this symptom, which you wouldn't have got without the mucus test. And then he's like, right, you need to do this work on your house, and then your conditions will reduce massively, which
that's crazy.
Fantastic, but it's not ideal in terms of the builder's fees. But, you know, he's like, if you'd have lived with that for another 20 years, you'd be, you know, people come to me 20 years time and they're really ill because they've been exposed to this mold. So I think the mucus test in the right hands is incredible, and that's good that you've got like outsourced experts handling it. But, you know, you could do as much, for example, I could do as much gym work as I want on my lung capacity, but had I not known that, you know, it's always going to be holding me back, for example. So I think having that clear, ultra personalized view of the person, and then I think layering in what recovery will specifically work for me or my nutrition or all this stuff, I think it's definitely the future is kind of.
Well, it's the thing. Like, when was the first time you ever heard the term biohacking?
Yeah,
Well,
probably. Yeah, I think it's gone from probably something the 1%ers would do.
I think that's it. Yeah.
To either, I think it's got two. From my understanding of it, you've got the proactive, which might be someone that's like, got into the circadian rhythm hacking and how do I proactively live longer or invest more in myself to be a really high performer. And then I guess you've got the dying or the aging that are seeing it as a solution, a kind of a way to add healthy years to their life or reverse damage that's happened to them, kind of thing. So I think you've got these two pots, but I think the aging is obviously got a lot more disposable income now to spend. It's the biggest target audience, and then I think the younger generation, obviously alcohol consumption's completely dropped off a cliff, and they're much more. I think it's kind of, I guess, the Gymshark generation. They're brought up around training. Everyone wants to be in shape, but you're looking at influencers' lives in the finer detail of what they eat and everything like that, which is some of the good things around social media. So I think the term biohacking, I guess, is like it sounds niche still, but I think longevity seekers is one way of looking at it.
For sure. I think that's the thing. I think if you'd said biohacking like to me or to most people 5 years ago, you'd literally be like, what are you on about? Like you think making an Android or something, but now actually, since I've been kind of not buying into it because I just do believe in it, but since I've been kind of finding out more about it, Brian Johnson, he's a guy that I've just kind of slowly been like, I actually find you very, very interesting, and your way of life is very interesting, and maybe he does take it to a bit of an extreme, but actually it's. Yeah, and you find something within that you like.
And the extremes is where you learn, because because it's these guys, because I went to the Health Optimization Summit last week, brilliant event all around biohacking, but it's those people that make themselves a sort of a science experiment. They test everything on themselves, and they're the extreme of it, but you're watching them, their biological age reversed by 20 years. And then we end up with the insight that's, okay, that thing definitely works. Or, saunas are highly recommended for this, this, and this. And then it reaches the mainstream. So everything, we'll all do some kind of biohack. Like, you shouldn't have a coffee after 3 o'clock. So we're all sort of biohacking one way or another.
It's true, yeah.
But then you're just layering in more and more things the more you learn, aren't you? Like I think you've pointed it out, but it's those voices like the Hubermans or the Chris Williamsons or the people like that are bringing it to the masses. And Stephen Bartlett does some stuff around, interviews some experts at times and stuff like that. So I think people are consuming a lot more of that style of content, so they're a lot more open to it. And then when you've got it in your facility, it's like, right. Yeah.
It's the way the industry's going. I think, to be honest, this has kind of turned into a longevity podcast, and I think that really is.
Says a lot. Yeah.
I mean, there isn't really another trend that's been so blatantly obvious as just the whole longevity and recovery thing. So
the only other thing, I guess, is the competitive fitness stuff and the high rocks. Affex, high rocks. And marathons and the return of all that ultra. So I guess that's the.
And I think again, they're probably linked, because actually it's after the Ironmans you do all the recovery stuff and you take it really seriously, because actually without, I think there's probably a lot of people, and I mean I can think of multiple of my friends' friends who it's multiple of my friends whose dads now have like no knees, and they were well into their cycling and well into their Ironmans and stuff like that, and they're really suffering in their old age. And actually it is that element of like, if you're going to be competing like a professional athlete does, you need to be recovering like a professional athlete does, and that's what that longevity and wellness thing is. And it's probably partly as I say, in reason for that resurgence in.
It's true, and there's also the point around a professional athlete has all day to sleep and rest and have food made for them and everything like that, whereas a lot of people have a stressful job already, and then they're going in to do something super stressful in the evening. So that's where Jim's layering in recovery session. And I can't remember who I was speaking to about it in our network, but it's a kind of having a PT having the confidence to prescribe just going home and having a sleep, as opposed to, they want to just give you a beasting of a session and make sure you sweat, but actually having the confidence that you do become their outsourced health expert. So if you come into me and you're absolutely burnt out from a project, and and I can say, look, just go home, come back Saturday morning. But it's having that confidence, whereas It's getting out of that mindset of like, I sell sweat, I sell
yeah,
hard
sure.
work, and that is it kind of thing. So
And again, it's that, it links back to that whole trust thing. And actually, if my PT told me to go home and sleep, I'd love him as well. But it's that whole thing of like, actually, I can see that he values my recovery, and he knows that I was like out last night and I should just rest.
And the proof, isn't
And
it? Is if you can make it more data led, so he can see that was the right move, because over time the graph's gone up, and actually the strength's gone up, the recovery's gone up, like you looking and feeling better as a result of what he's prescribed you over that time, rather than it feeling more transactional.
And it's your risk of injury as well when you're not in the right headspace or not in the right, like, even if you're literally hungover, your risk of injury increases like through the roof massively. I had a podcast with Phil Lerney that literally he was just like,
he is the man.
Stop drinking. And
Yeah.
So, but in fairness, after that conversation, you do kind of come out and you're like, actually, you know what, like, there's so much backing behind it, and like science-led stuff as well. So you're just like, I just need to look after myself. It motivates you almost.
It's true. Phil is the guru. He's on our he's on our advisory board. But every time I watch his talk, it's so science backed that you come away with 10 new habits and tweaks, and I love it. It has changed the way I live day to day for sure. It is absolute brilliant stuff. But So on that note, I think we've kind of talked through this, but what would be, if you were planning our schedule for 2026, February 2026, 25th, 26th of February, little plug, NEC Birmingham, what would be your non-negotiable topics to have on there? We've obviously talked about longevity. I think, to give a little bit of a background for PerformX, we have 3 streams of content. So we have the general bigger picture trends, which is generally like for big chains or CEOs or ambitious independents to look at, which is things like longevity, things like wearables, which we had last year, Kristen Holmes. The year before it was this rise in kind of social well-being and Remedy Place and those kind of pop-up, the kind of social saunas and that kind of thing. So you've got the trends, then we've got the independent gym stage and the PT stage. So the independent gym stage, we do focus more on the rounded skills needed to be a gym owner. So as we were talking about earlier, sales and marketing, financial skills, a lot of like self-leadership and leadership skills. What else? We've got 2 other pillars that have slipped my mind. And then we have 2 stages for PTs. One, more business, building personal brand. The other, more of the practical, so you're upskilling as an individual, and becoming a better coach, better practitioner. So that's kind of the setup of PerformX. But what would you see across that spectrum that you think people are asking a lot of questions on, want to know more on?
I won't be boring and say longevity again. I think we've covered it. But I think, to be honest, it's literally, I mean, one of the things you always kind of learn when you're growing up playing like competitive sports is like, learn the basics and just do the basics well. Because actually, it's all well and good being unreal at football tactically, but if you can't kick a ball, you're not going to do very well. So it's that literal like marketing, sales,
drilling the basics.
Just literally getting that stuff right, defining what your kind of brand is, how you want to position yourself in the market, who your target audience is. And then I guess, to be honest, it's like you can't really do a talk on it unless you're getting someone really pumped, but like just motivation and passion. And I think a lot of the industry has that already. So that's a really good start. But it's doing the extra work, like staying up a little bit later every night and actually just writing that last email and finishing that automation. And I think all of that stuff, it's just the basics. And once it's done, you don't really have to think about it ever again. But it just takes time and takes effort. And I think getting that stuff right is so important. And it's very clear that the brands that do really well have a coherent brand that they can follow, and they have a good message, and they have a good look. And I think all of that stuff, once you have it, is good. Then you can start focusing on your hyperbaric chambers and measuring bonus and all that stuff.
Yeah, nice. I like that. Yeah, focus on the basics, get those right, drill them in. I really like that.
Yeah.
I
feel like I've mentioned measuring bonus too many times now. We'll cut it
cancelled.
out.
Yeah.
Jesus. Right.
So moving on to PerformX, We're very excited to have you guys involved this year and taking a great space with quite a prominent zone at the show, which is going to be really cool. We always like to have brands that want to deliver and add value to our audience. So what you're building sounds very aligned with what we want. We want as many reasons to be in that room as possible. So they're going, okay, it's got that, it's got, main stage, we've got the VIP club, we've got the gym of the future zone, we've got, there's loads of stuff going on to do. So I was really excited to hear about your plans, but you described it as a community hub. So can you paint me a bit of a picture of what you've got planned for February, a bit of a sneak preview?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to ruin too much, but I think, as I say, the Gym Owners Forum and the stand at the event is about connecting gym owners to other gym owners, and we've got our own kind of mini stage on there. What we're actually doing is just filming our public podcast, and we've invited a couple people that want to be involved in the project, I guess you want to call it.
Nice.
The forum, and that want to contribute to it. So we've invited them to come and share their knowledge, and we want it to be very interactive and very AMA, ask me anything. And I think if someone's got a question, if someone's got something they want to say, you can come up and just sit down and have a chat and share your truth. I think. I mean, that's probably a bit deep, to be honest. Just keep it in the industry, obviously. But I think, if the more people that we can have on the stand contributing to it, the more of a success it is. Because I think actually that's literally what it's all about. And, obviously we've got brands that are coming and joining us on the stand on the day. And the reason they're there, I mean, it sounds stupid. It's not to sell, obviously, ultimately, it is. And I think this is the thing that I want to get very clear on this. And it's that obviously all of these businesses and all of these people at the end of the day are there to make money. And I think that's just a rule of business. And I think with that in mind, it's the idea of we're not selling to you. And it's actually we're showing you how these products can help you improve your gym and how they all kind of work together. And there's a lot more thought behind it. And
Nice.
It's in your face, but it's not saying you don't have to sit through a 20-minute pitch. You discover it at your own pace. You have the conversations with the people that you want to talk to, because, at the end of the day, someone isn't looking to switch their facilities management company. Someone isn't looking to buy an ice bath. Someone isn't looking to, I'm not going to say all that stuff, but someone isn't looking to buy all this stuff, but they might be looking for one of the things there. So they might have a couple questions to ask. And then it's about connecting people with the people that they want to talk to with no strings attached. And I think ultimately a lot of the people that we're going to have on board kind of sell themselves anyway. And I think, the saying is the proof's in the pudding. And I think if we can share good conversations with good people, show that we know what we're talking about, and show that we care about gym owners and the success of the industry, which sounds so altruistic, but it is. It's plain and simple. Because at the end of the day, that means that I meet more interesting people, I learn new ideas, and I can be better at my job and connect people to other people as well. So I think it's not really a sneak preview, but expect a lot of good stuff.
Nice. No, really looking forward to it.
Will be really interesting.
Really looking forward to it. And then, why do you think it's so important for someone that cares about their career in the fitness industry to attend events like PerformX?
Someone who cares about their career in the industry should attend an event like PerformX, because actually you're not going to learn anything from sitting in the gym all day. I think it's about getting new ideas. It's about seeing new perspectives, being selfish and talking about ourselves again. There's nothing like the Gym Owners Forum in the industry, because it's literally just free impartial advice. There's obviously paid services, and to be honest, the paid services are going to be more hands-on, and they're going to be a lot more personal and personalized. But actually, if you can have just that shoulder to lean on, that number to text, that WhatsApp group, that community that we're going to have to just literally pop a message into, someone gets back to you just saying, this is what you do, mate, or this is what I've heard, then that's that perspective you'll never find. And I think you will kind of just be shooting in the dark a little bit. And it's just interesting. They're fun. You get a load of freebies as well. So, I mean, it's learning about the industry. If you want to actually improve your business acumen and your knowledge of the industry, then, they're the best places to be, because literally everyone else is there and you're missing out if you don't go.
Amazing. Yeah, I'd second that. It's, insight, collaboration, connections, all of all of the good stuff.
There are buzzwords.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Community's in there for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's all that stuff, and just we try and aim for it to be the 2 days that someone takes their head out of their business and sees what's coming down the line, which we try and focus heavily on the trends or the people who are actually living those trends. So a lot of our speakers come over from the US because they tend to be sort of 5 years ahead of us.
Yeah.
We don't just want to be talking about what's potentially happening. We want to be showing people that are doing the things so you can, and people are always surprised at who they can get FaceTime with. So you're like, wow, I met that speaker, or, you know, that gym owner I've been following for ages. We had a chat for half an hour, or, you know, it's that kind of room where you can meet some of the real pioneers of the sector. And we've uniquely sort of created this bar vibe feel to it. So it feels quite a comfortable place to just approach anyone. You don't see teams going around in their little groups in their branded tops and ignoring, you know, you see like a mix of different CEOs or PTs chatting, and people often say the amount of people I met, you know, at that event was priceless kind of thing. And I'm still in contact with this person. Yeah, partnerships, collaborations, brands, you know, check out all the latest products, exactly like you said.
It's amazing the amount of people you meet, and I think you're always surprised by like a company, and you're just like, how has that come into your head? But actually, it's such a good idea, and it's like, I mean, you'd also one you mentioned about meeting people that you kind of think you'd never meet, like industry celebrities, I guess, which sounds funny to say because I bet none of them actually consider themselves that, but it's like when you go up to those people, they all are so welcoming, up for having a conversation. And I think that's kind of like what inspired this as well, is just because actually all the people that are doing so well, it's so obvious, are talking about what they're doing. They're talking about themselves. They're talking about other people that they've met. And, you know, that's just like, it's probably not the only testament to their success. It's a lot of hard work as well, but, you know, it's definitely one of the factors. So why you should go to PerformX is, to meet people, to just be more social, because I think it can only ever be a good thing to connect with other people, basically,
Very true, very true. And final question for you. What's next for the Gym Owners Forum?
So obviously we have the Instagram page at the moment, and there's a lot more different forms of content. So there's a lot more insights and tips and tricks, but actually we've realized what gym owners want to see is other gym owners talking about themselves, not me talking about stuff that I've seen. So a lot more gym owner story-led content, peer-led content, a WhatsApp community, more like Sligos and live events. Sligo's like a live event response thing. More events, podcasts, all of that good stuff. I think you'll see over the next couple months that there is just going to be a big explosion of stuff coming out and a big push on the community as well. So that's it really. Just keep your eyes peeled and follow the Gym Owners Forum on Instagram.
Nice.
Cheers.
Yeah, and obviously come and see the stand at PerformX.
Yes, obviously.
25th, 26th, Feb. Really looking forward to having you guys involved, and pleasure to have you on the podcast.
It's going to be great. Look forward to it. Cheers, Charles.
Man.